Hey everyone. So I am pretty happy with the progress that I've made with this application so far. So in this video here, I just kind of want to give you an update of some of the things that are going on. And just like any project that I'm working on, there's always some kind of issue that I'm dealing with. So I want to quickly talk through this so that I don't spend too much time. You can pause the video and look at code if you need to. And of course, feedback on the quality of these videos is always welcome. So just comment. Anyways, so let's get started here. My objective in my objective in towards a pursuit of having private rooms for this app is going to involve creating two documents, one right after the other. And the reason is because they're related. And what these two documents are is the first one being just a normal room. We already have a model for that. And the second one is what I like to call a user configuration document. So uh, the user config sort of supplements the global um, user, you know, object data thing that Google Firebase keeps track of. The point of my user config is to just hold basic information about the user, the last room that they visited, the list of rooms that they are subscribed to, things of that nature. So with that said, I think I've kind of prepped you for this function here. This is the cloud function in which I am attempting to create these two documents, and it's working. However, there are some problems. Um, uh, so let me just explain what that is. So here, what we have for this cloud function is that anytime a user is created, what we want to do is just do some stuff, right? Like we have block of code right here. And if you look closely, basically I'm just creating two references to the rooms node and to the users node. Don't get this confused with the actual user. This is user config. Perhaps I should rename this. Anyways, I've created two different references to two different nodes, and then on the rooms ref, it's a push. Okay, and what push does, if you study that the documentation is, it will create a document for you at that node, but it will randomly create the ID for the document. There is another way in which you can specify that ID, and that is exactly what we need to do with the subsequent document creation for the user um, configuration doc. So back to the code here. Yeah, this being a push is going to essentially take all of this information and create a room for us. I guess what these attributes are irrelevant right now. But my approach to this was just kind of take the dot then, and then here is where I will create the user configuration file. So .child is the Firebase method that I had found in the documentation that lets me specify what that document's ID is. And what we need that ID to be is the global user ID. And we have that for free right here, uh, being the callback function. So this logic is pretty sound as far as I'm concerned right now. The only problem with this is that there is some inconsistent behavior whereby uh, a room will be created sometimes once, sometimes 3 times. I've seen 4 rooms created uh, on one user creation, um, and the inconsistency is making it difficult to debug. So let me go ahead and jump in and do that right away. I have a feeling that this video is going to go longer than I want it to, but for good reason. Uh, Let me show you the documentation here for this global event that I was talking about. So here it is, functions.auth.user.onCreate. So according to the documentation, there's I don't know if this is an exhaustive list, but this list here is just kind of tells you what's going to fire that function. The one that we're most concerned about is this one here. A user creates an email account and password. That's how we're going to try to demo this feature. Okay, uh, cool. So you have an idea of where to find the documentation. You can pause the video, check out the URL. Let me jump over to the application now, and I'm going to refresh. And there's nobody logged into this app, so you can imagine that when you do sign in, what's going to happen is the list of rooms that you are subscribed to should show up on the left, and then the last room that you visited should be the one that is selected automatically on login. So that's the goal here. So let's go ahead and demo a sign up, okay? And this is going to trigger this cloud function that we have. Rest assured that the cloud function's been deployed. I did that before this video. Cool. I don't think I misspelled that at all. Okay, cool. So I think we're all right to go here. So before I click register, let's actually look at this database. Um, hopefully this doesn't take too long to load. All right, so looking at rooms right away, we have 1, 2, 3 rooms. So after this registration, we should see only 1 room created and also just 1 user created. I am hoping that I'll get lucky and I can recreate this bug. So let's actually give that a shot. So back to the application. Let's click here to register. Cool. Everything looks good on the front end. The room that we auto created showed up. Unfortunately, it looks like we're getting back null for the display name. We can't let that slide. But this is promising. This is what we want. So let's log out of here. And what I want to try to do is sign in with my account or a different one, and I want to see if the rooms are updated and if the chat room is auto selected. So okay, it looks like we have successfully logged in. Looking at the console, there's going to be a bunch of stuff in here. These are warnings, typical. There's some other minor issues I need to address, but nothing in here regarding that document creation. So let's look at the database and see if it showed up. And sure enough, this is exactly what I was talking about. There are 3 rooms created and 1 user. So what I do know is that this cloud function has been invoked 3 times. And jumping back to that, there is a console log at the very top that is going to reveal what the user is. I did this to see if there was any difference when this function was invoked, so I can maybe hopefully detect some kind of pattern here. So let's go look at the logs here for this cloud function. So let's jump over here. Ay. All right. View logs. Let me make this a little bit smaller. So what time did we do this at? Well, just a few minutes ago, 9:51. So it looks like our logging starts up here, and okay, hold on, hang on one second. 9:51. Function executed, started, user. So, okay, the function did run 3 times. And this user object looks identical each time. So what that tells me is that the function indeed does not run unless a user is created. But why is the application running that function 3 times? That's the question. I sort of have one speculation, and that, let me show you, that might be it. And what my suspicion is that since I'm using, my suspicion is that this has to do with Redux form, because I believe that I had improperly implemented Redux form on this auth.js component. So hopefully you're still familiar with these, but what you're looking at is 4 different forms here. But each one of these forms shares the same function. And this function is responsible for invoking signing in with email. And that function is responsible for creating the global user. So since this Redux form was improperly implemented, where each of these forms is sharing that same method, that could potentially be it. It's kind of a stretch in my opinion, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I need to refactor these forms anyways, so hopefully that'll clear things up for us. We are very close to having a full-fledged chat application. Once we get this room privacy, business worked out, then we're going to be in really good shape. And then I believe this is going to be a matter of polishing things up. But cool. I would love feedback from anybody on anything. Tell me I need to trim my beard or something. So especially ideas on content. If you want a video made on basic HTML, even, that's fine, or something as advanced as Redux or something, I'd be happy to do it. I just ask that maybe you subscribe or something like that, or whatever. Anyways, that'll do it for this video, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.